Hey guys, what's up? It's Sean, Autotopia LA, and welcome to another episode of For the Win. In this series, what we're doing is taking a look at vehicles that we've shot in the past, doing a comparison, some general details on them, going for a drive, and ultimately, I'm picking which one I would take for the win, and I'm asking you to participate with me here and tell me which one you would pick and why. Also, just want to throw it out to you that these are vehicles we've shot before, so if you want more details on them, you want to see the owner, builder, oftentimes both, feel free to dig into the channel because these episodes do exist in full there. So today we're taking a look at two Chevy C10 pickup trucks. Both very different, both different intents in their build, both are extreme builds, and I love that they were both done by the owner of the vehicle, built at home in their garages with a little help along the way from some friends. So the first one we're going to take a look at is my friend Jody's C10. This one right away is going to confuse some people because you see the tailgate and it says GMC on it. It was the tailgate he had laying around in his house, so he decided to throw it on. It is a C10, and he's always wanted a C10. His whole life he's wanted a C10, but Jody's a Mopar guy, diehard Mopar guy. So he did something that pisses some of you guys off. He decided to power it with a Hemi, and he put a Hellcat motor in this thing. Personally, I love it. I got no purity in me. This is a hot rod. Hot rods for me is you want to throw a Chevy and a Ford, go for it. You want to put a Mopar in a Chevy, go for it. I absolutely love that Jody built the truck he wanted, not necessarily the one that you want. He did a couple of upgrades to the motor as well. He did a pulley kit on it, he did injectors on it, so now he's making about 745 horsepower at the tire. Yes, 745 horsepower at the tire. I love that he kept this car a manual. He took a transmission out of a Hellcat Challenger, put it in this car, so he's got the 6-speed manual on it. It does sit on air, which, you know, I'm hit or miss on air, but again, this is a truck that Jody built the way he wanted to build it, so he did an AccuAir setup on this, allows him to get that great stance on it. But he did do some other upgrades to the suspension. It's still on a stock C10 chassis, but he did Porterbuilt A-arms upper and lower on it. He did 3-way adjustable coilovers, big brake kit. He's got another one where you see Wilwood brakes on this truck, which, you know, Wilwood seems to be one of those go-tos. And I would say for one main reason, they make great brakes. They just do. I really love that he went with HRE wheels on this. I think HRE is one of the best in the business as far as their designs, as well as the wheels they actually make. He is running big tires on this thing. He's running a 295 up front, and out back, I can't even remember the measurement on it. You could go back and check on the full video, but it is a Mickey Thompson tire, so it's measured in a different way. It's a big meat on the back of this thing. He's also running a Curry rear end. He's running 3-inch exhaust all the way back on it, going to some Flowmaster mufflers. I love the interior he did on this, that there's a lot of simplicity. There's a lot of elements that still exist from the C10. He's running Dakota digital gauges, which just look wonderful. He did TMI seats. He's got a center console. The truck's just really set up nicely. And as Jody said in the full video, I remember him saying this, he doesn't own a trailer. This is not a trailer queen. He built this to drive it, and he drives it. So let's jump in and go for a ride with Jody as he smokes some tires and we have a little bit of fun. Yeah. Woo-hoo-hoo. Yeah, that's 740 to the tire, isn't it?
And then it just purrs like a kitten.
Yeah, this thing just motors along, doesn't it? Wow, it sounds so good. Two of the sounds I personally love on cars, either the whine that you get from the blower or the blow off you get from turbos, yeah. You know? But this, to me, I'm a supercharger guy. I really like that sound. I like the low-end grunt. It's another go-to, isn't it, is the Tremec?
Yeah, when you buy the crate motor, it has the Hellcat clutch hanging off the back of it, so it was pretty much a no-brainer.
Yeah. Jeez, dude.
Doesn't like those tires.
I don't know if it's gonna like any tires, is it?
No. Burnout or not really?
If you don't mind, you don't have to. That's awesome. They're so dumb, burnouts, but goddamn if they're not just fun, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you're driving and you feel the tire sliding and the little kick you get, you know, they're just fun. Wow. God, it's just brutal power. I guess to you it's not after your CUDA, but
This is probably faster.
is it faster? Yeah.
The other one's just set up. That was set up for more drag racing, but this is funner to drive.
Is it? Take a
Yeah.
little more work,
Yeah.
Because I notice as soon as you start spinning, it's kicking both ways.
Yeah, I'm used to that.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Something I didn't ask you was I noticed through your grill you can really see your radiator. Is that what that is? That's your radiator, or is there an intercooler there
It's
also?
Intercooler. That sounds horrible.
Horrible.
Oh my God, my ears.
Crazy how much more power you have. I mean, you walked away from him. By the time you already lifted and are cruising,
Yeah.
then he catches you. So let's take a look at Chris Chandler's C10. Now take into consideration, Chris Chandler is an actual mechanical engineer. So the way he approaches building something is from that perspective. And he worked at Dynan BMW for years, so Chris really understands what it is to make a vehicle handle well, drive well, have the power that he wants, put that power to the ground. And this C10 is just truly an extraordinary build. So this thing starts with a no-limit chassis. They did modify some of the suspension, the sway bars on this, to increase the ability for this thing to handle. He went with a big brake kit from a C6 Z06. Chris said he did it because he wanted to do something other than what everybody typically does. Plus, he said he loves to use parts from vehicles that are OE based because they've been radically engineered and they've been proven to work. So the Z06 brake package is definitely a nice upgrade to this. So he did go with an LS3 in this, although it is a fully built LS3. If you want more details on it, go watch the full video. Chris gets into depth a little bit on what he did to the engine. But he didn't want big power. He wanted a high revving engine. This thing's making about 600 horsepower, revs to 7,500 RPMs, which is just cool to have that high revving V8, I think. He's running a manual 6-speed Tremec. He went with forge line wheels, 19s all around. Nice big meat on the back. I love that he went with a 345 rear tire. It's a Ford 9-inch rear end. It's a full floater. Geared pretty low. He went with 411s on this. I love that he built his own exhaust on this. It's so fun to have these guys that are garage builders doing it at home, but yet they have the level of experience somebody like Chris Chandler does. So he did his own headers, exhaust all the way back, 3-inch tubes going to Flowmaster mufflers. Thing sounds great. I'm a massive fan of side exit exhaust. I love that it comes out of the side of the truck. I also love the oval tubing, so to not, inhibit any of the clearance of this thing. Chris also went with a fairly simple interior on this, repurposing a lot of the original C10 stuff, even the seats. And I love that they have the houndstooth. It's just such a cool look on the old C10s, harkening back to the days of the Camaros. He opted to go with classic instruments gauges. Everything fits in its stock positioning, but it's a modern gauge. Again, feel free to dig into the full episode on this one. Chris goes into some of the detail of the lighting he did on it, adding markers. Really cool stuff. I highly recommend watching the full video on this thing. But he really set it up as a hard driving truck. So he can go drive it, enjoy it on the streets, but he can go out and road course this thing, and it actually handles. His goal was to make this handle as good as his seriously built E46 BMW. He got a weight distribution on this, which, remember, this is a pickup truck. 52 front, 48 rear. Not bad for putting the power to the ground. So let's jump in with Chris and go for a little rip. That's the way to get it fired up. I love your truck, dude, and I love that you can drive, man. You're a total driver. Yeah. You see what you're doing to me? Like, I can't fake this stuff, man. That's just awesome. I love it. I love how much you can feel it, like it's hooking up.
Right?
But it's also spinning, like it's trying to get traction.
Exactly. We're accelerating, but
Yeah.
the tires just are moving a little bit faster than what the truck can actually do at that moment.
Yep.
Right? And then ride quality. Right? I got the shocks and everything tuned that we're soaking up bumps. Doesn't really beat you up.
It's not horrible stiff at all. It's not even close to horrible stiff where you're,
Right.
you know.
But I got a 1-inch sway bar. I got 750-pound springs on this thing. But I got the shock valving set up that it doesn't beat you up.
Got it. God, it sounds evil.
The exhaust really does sound good.
Oh
doesn't it?
man, it sounds evil on the D-cell. Wow.
Exercise those Corvette brakes.
They just really work. We'll go for it. It's just amazing how much it just wants to grab. I'm so knocked out by how much it grabs.
It's not bad for a truck, is it?
Dude, come on. Impressive.
Not bad for a truck.
Impressive. All right, so let's dig in on the what I likes and what I don't likes, and ultimately which one I would pick for the win. And again, I'd love to hear from you guys to let me know which one you would pick and why. Jody's truck is just bitchin'. Lack of better ways of saying this, I love that he had the balls to drop a Hellcat engine in this thing because he's a Mopar guy, but he wanted a C10. I love the goofiness that all he had laying around was a GMC tailgate, so he threw that on this truck. Everything he did on this truck is built to drive. He doesn't own a trailer, as he says. He drives this thing. He enjoys driving it. It puts power down, although I gotta tell you, it spins the tires effortlessly, even when you're rolling down the road. The simplicity of the interior is beautiful, although it has a lot of the creature comfort things that, you know, I like on a hot day, on a cold day. So really not much I can say about this truck that I don't love, other than, although it's what Jody wanted, I'm not an airbag guy, so I'm not a big fan of the airbag setup on this thing. That's about my only knock on this truck for my personal taste. Now you jump over to Chris Chandler's C10. I love everything about this thing. The side exit exhaust, that it's a full chassis build, that it's built to handle, not just to point straight and rip and go, but that it really is a handling truck. I love the power to weight on this thing. That 600-ish horsepower for me is a power range that I'm really comfortable with. You can rip on it, you can map the throttle. I love the simplicity of the interior on this. Again, it has a lot of the creature comfort things that are nice to have, and the houndstooth interior for me throws it over the top. So having said that about both of these trucks, I gotta go with Chris Chandler's for the win. Just the simple fact that this thing is built to handle, and it's a power range I love. I absolutely dig this truck, so for the win, for me, is Chris Chandler's C10. Now let me know which one you pick and why. Love to hear from you guys on this. And as always, a big thanks to you for hanging out and watching what we do here. I truly appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next episode. All right, you guys, later.